I think ingrained in anyone with European heritage in particular is this fear of predators, wolves in particular. Wolves eat things that we like to eat, either wild animals like elk and deer, but also our livestock. As ranching became larger part of our society, especially here in the West, we saw a lot of that feeling that wolves are taking out part of our herds. And while again that is sometimes true, it's not as common as we may think. But because of that, we've really seen that major push by the government. There were tags sent out to people to try and increase wolf extermination with the goal of 0 wolves in the West, which we achieved in most states, unfortunately. When wolves came out of our ecosystems, we learned that they were really keeping those herbivores in check, especially large herbivores like elk and deer. They were keeping those populations in check, and without them we saw what we call in ecology a trophic cascade. So wolves were taken out of the top trophic level, that top feeding level, and with them gone, there were overpopulations of that herbivore level that decimated the plant communities. Reintroducing them in the 90s into both Yellowstone, and lesser known populations were reintroduced in Idaho in the Frank Church Wilderness. We've really seen an incredible rebound of those ecosystems, everything coming back into balance. There's also this mystical fascination with wolves. Domestic dogs are simply a subspecies of the wolf. The issue there is that wolves can interbreed with dogs. Sometimes people think that a Malamute is a wolf, and so if they can have a Malamute in their living room, they can have a wolf in their living room. So we see issues with interbreeding, or people trying to keep domesticated wolves. People get a puppy, a wolf puppy, they think that they can raise it, and then they can't. So unfortunately, people's misunderstanding of dogs and wolves and the relationship there has led to wolves in some situations they shouldn't be in, and so great people like Mission Wolf have to step in.
The world was supposed to end last century. I'm still playing the waiting game. Sail my ship to Africa. I just wanna know I can go that far. Today the future feels like memories. I want a past that can go that far. Today my accidents are remedies.
Mission Wolf is a wolf sanctuary for wolves and wolf dog crosses. We all have a common goal. We all want to help wolves, and we all want to educate people that wolves are not the big bad wolf that you see on TV, and that they're actually a beautiful creature that are very important to our ecosystem. We have 36 wolves on the property. They come from all different walks of life. A lot of them come from people who have tried to own them in their home, got them as a little puppy, thought they were cute, and then they grew up at 3 years old or so and realized, oh my gosh, this is a big full-grown wolf and I can't take care of this in my apartment. We do have animals that we can go in with, and they understand us and know how to greet us. Those are the animals that we've gotten as puppies. We've been able to socialize them. And then other animals that we get at an older age, usually 3 and older, are less social, less inclined to come up to meet people, especially new people that they don't know. None of these wolves are able to be let back into the wild. All of them have been imprinted by humans in some way. They've lost some of their wild tendencies. Therefore, if we do even try to release some of these animals into the wild, they'll be dead within a month, whether or not from disease or lack of being able to hunt and find food. But the most common and most dangerous thing to them is human interaction. They'll go running up to some place that they think is food, and it'll end up being someone's livestock, and they'll get shot or something like that right away. So at Mission Wolf, we have lots of ways to ensure that the wolves here get a nice, happy life. First thing we do is keep the human interaction away and let the wolves be wolves. The second thing we do is basically ensure that they always have a meal. so they don't have to go hunt for it. We also are able to give them supplements and medications and things to keep them healthier and live a whole lot longer than they would live in the wild. And then another thing is we keep them enriched. We do a whole lot of things that kind of let them play, let them have fun, keep them occupied so they aren't trying to either get aggressive at the fence or try to dig out or anything like that. We let them have a whole lot of fun in their home and make them want to stay. We'll wake up in the morning, we'll give everybody daily feed, which is basically just a little snack in the morning to get the old folks their medications and things like that, and give everybody else a nice warm meal in the morning. And then a typical day really isn't very typical. We do anything that needs to be done. There's always stuff that needs to be done. So anything from welding to fixing wolf enclosures to, preparing meat for the wolves. We are looking to try to help educate people to understand that wolves are important to the ecosystem. Wolves are important to be living in the wild. Mission Wolf's motto is education versus extinction. So our big thing out here is trying to educate people why owning a wolf in a cage is a bad thing and why wolves in the wild are a good thing. We'll bring people out and show them around and tell all the different stories of each animal and explain why it's not a good idea to try to own a wolf or a wolf dog. Each one of these 36 animals has their own story that's very sad. Every single one that has to end up in a cage is the saddest story you can think of instead of being able to be out in the wild.
I want a kiss. Come here.
Daisy is one of our older wolf dogs. She is 13 years old now, and she came to us from a vegetarian family that fed her a non-meat, corn-based diet. We're basically attributing that to the cause of her illness. She was diagnosed with PANIS a few years ago, and basically it's causing her to go blind. That's a prime example of people basically not understanding what they're supposed to do with a wild animal or a wolf-dog cross. People think it's a good idea to own a wolf, at least in my opinion, because they want to have that connection to nature, I guess you could say. Thinking that the wolf is, a beautiful animal, which it is, but wanting to try to own it in a home. They'll get it as a puppy, and it's cute and cuddly and, wants to somewhat listen because they see the humans as part of their pack. And then as they start to grow older, they realize, well, I'm more of a wild animal, I'm a wolf, I have these tendencies that aren't going to be so suitable in a controlled environment. When you have a wild animal, putting it into a captive environment, it's not going to mesh very well. We don't want to have any animals in cages, but the only way that we can help educate people is by having the animals in the cages. The day that we are actually successful is the day that we can take down all of our fences and let wolves run wild in Colorado.
Today my actions feel like melodies. I want a tune that can go that far. Today my body feels the gravity and thinks it can only go so far.